how much will actually come out of such a small portion of your entire wheel. I'd guess that you can get hundreds and hundreds of portions of cheese out of this entire wheel. And when I say portion, I mean those massive hunks. Could be in the 1,000 range with how big this thing is. And once we've created a nice bowl, we can set our wheel aside. Now that our dough's been resting in the fridge for a while, I first want to show you how bright and yellow this thing is. That's what you get when you use all egg yolks. Now first, we're gonna hit this dough with some nice flour, really making sure that that's not gonna stick to a bunch of stuff. Then we'll take that same bench scraper we used earlier and cut this in half. Press out your dough until it's nice and thin, flouring a little bit as you go and optionally using a rolling pin to push it out even further. Once you're ready to go, push it through your pasta maker. We should get a gorgeous, beautiful, and smooth yellow dough. And as I think I've discussed before, I always like to fold it together and put it through a second time to get out any air bubbles. Once your dough is rolled out the first time, turn up the dial and start to roll it through on a thinner setting until you're ready to make your fettuccine. Once it's finished, we can roll out our fettuccine. Now we roll out the fettuccine, creating these beautiful strands of pasta. Now we're gonna make a really fast garlic cream sauce, and then we're just about ready to fill that Parmesan cheese, so don't go anywhere. Chop off each of the heads of the garlic. For our garlic cream sauce, I'll add about a stick of butter and let that melt down. Once that butter is melted, I'm gonna take a few cloves of my fresh garlic and press this right in here. Oh! I prefer a garlic press to mincing garlic any day, because it really just saves you from all those nasty smelling cutting boards and dishes. Now into this butter, I'm gonna slowly sprinkle in a few tablespoons of flour while still whisking. And this will make us a nice garlic roux. Those clumps that you see in there aren't the flour, it's actually just that minced garlic. Once we've stirred this around a short bit and let it thicken, I'll add in about 2 cups of heavy cream. And then once I've let this start to heat up, I'll start grating in some of the Parmesan right out of my wheel. Can you imagine if I had the nerve to use pre-grated Parmesan right now from the store? Think about it this way. You can buy fresh Parmesan that's at least somewhat recently been taken out of a full Parmesan wheel like I've shown you, or you can buy pre-grated Parmesan, which has probably been sitting on the shelf a few years, but not exactly aging in the good way. Just think about that next time you make that choice. It's gonna be on your conscience, not mine. Once this thickens up into a really beautiful buttery cream sauce, we can set this whole thing aside, and we're ready to cook our pasta. Once our water's boiling, we'll salt our water like the ocean, because we really want that salty flavor in our pasta. And once the salt has had a minute to settle and dissolve into the water, we'll toss in our pasta. Now before we put in that pasta, we'll pour in a bit of white wine and light it on fire. You might not be able to see the flame right now, but you can probably hear it. And there's tons of heat coming off this wheel of Parmesan right now. You can probably start to see some of these flames of the fire, which is kind of faint, but still definitely there. What it's allowing me to do is sort of make a cheese sauce out of this before we even add any of the pasta to that. And because it's so hot in there, the cheese is starting to melt in the base of my wheel. Now that my eyes are tearing up again and crying a little bit because of all that alcohol that's just come off, we have this really warm cheese paste at the base that we can now use to make the rest of our pasta. We'll pour in that pasta, which of course we need to break apart a little bit here. Then we'll come in with that thick cream.